Hey everyone, Forex Sensei here. Welcome once again to the dojo. And today I want to show you guys NFP as it happened. But before we do that, if you don't mind, if you can subscribe, like, and comment, it really helps the channel out and it helps Sensei out as well. So, let's crack on. What we can see here is that NFP is due to happen in about a minute. And before NFP happens, the market makers are going to usually have some erratic movements. You're going to have a lot of spread movement. You can see here on gold that price is really starting to move and do a lot of stuff. Normally 15 minutes in before NFP, you'll see a lot of erratic movement, and then you'll see the actual movement happen. So I didn't take the trade on here. You'll see it made a huge move, not just here. UZ as well as GU didn't really do that much. Gold is more volatile. Well, you can see here that as NFP starts, my broker froze. I thought something was wrong, and then we see here, boom, we have an 800 pip drop. Now, if you've been looking at what gold's been doing over the past week, market makers have been pretty stagnant over the past week. So I knew NFP was coming and they might do something. So one thing to realize with NFP, a lot of people don't trade news, and the reason for it is normally because they don't like news trading. They just feel that it's not beneficial or scared or something. But I will tell you there are a couple ways in which you could have entered that trade and actually made something from it. This is on the 1 minute chart. That's what I use to get in and do my trades. Using the 15 minutes to just understand the entry, but the 1 minute to get that sniper entry. And in an upcoming video, I'll talk about sniper entries. So here, I'm moving out to the 15-minute chart, and I'm just seeing what's happening here. So we can see here that there has been a lot of movement. And here, looking at GU, it started to make a move, and UZ, you can see here, it's starting to move upwards. So going back to GU, I'm also looking to see that it made a huge spike downwards, and obviously gold did as well. So ADR low is going to get hit. It's going to get hit pretty quickly. And with NFP, it is like I said, one of the biggest moves that's going to happen. It happens on the first Friday at 1:30 or 8:30 in the morning US time, and it is huge, as you can see here. But NFPs have various sizes and various in terms of movement. Some are big, like this one, and some are small. It depends on what's happening and what the market makers need to move to the next level. That's what it's all about. Gotta remember, at the end of the day, the market makers are going to use this to hide what they do to move on. And that's what you have to look out for. But at the same time, you're working with them as a silent partner versus against them, because you can't win against market makers. They have supercomputers and trained people doing this for years and years and so on. So you work with them. So we can see with NFP, you can see here that there's a huge price drop. This is what I was expecting anyway. Looking back over this, like I said, the reason why I didn't get this in this personally is that I was looking for a move out of the Asian session box. So if we look at, in this case, the box just as the session marker is open, I was looking for an entry. I was looking for a movement to come down, come back up, and come down again to make a W. Or I was looking for a move towards the EMAs, so that's the white or the dark blue EMA. I was looking for a move upwards of there and to close on the 13 EMA. I would have gone in on the 5 minute EMA. That would have been my entry. So in another video, I'll talk about entries and how they work. So NFP is a serious piece of business. If you can get it, and you can, if you're ready in the trade and that happens, you'll stand to either make a lot, or if you're ready in profit, you'll make a ton more. But it can stop a lot of people out. So I'm here measuring. We're about 900 pips in. There was a 900 pip drop, which was incredible. I jumped back to the 1 minute chart. Like I said, this is where I take most of my entries anyway. And here you can see resistance coming back up, but the market overall heads further downwards. Now I don't show the whole of what's happening in the NFP. It's about 15 minutes, I think, a bit extra, but I just want to give you an insight of NFP as it happens. So within the first 15 minutes of NFP, it's, the first few minutes of it, it's quite something. But 15 minutes within NFP itself, and then the next candle, it tends to level out and move on. So it's quite interesting to see what happens here. But here's where you can stand to make a good chunk of profit if you know the direction that it's going and your stop loss is wide enough that it can allow for any spreads or anything to happen. Because what the market maker is doing here is they're taking all of the contracts that were traded along this period, and all the contracts that were going long and had all the stop losses in this area, they took them all. So you can see here with GU, it made a whipsaw effect and went both areas, both directions. And that's just, it's sneaky, but you know what? Market makers have money to bag, so they're going to go and secure that bag. I don't blame them in that aspect. And as we all know, anything we do in the Forex world is our own risk. So, disclaimer as usual, anything you see or you hear from the videos that are posted here on this channel, always make sure that you start small and make sure you backtest. And I'll have a video about backtesting and how I backtest my stuff to make sure it works. So, with that in mind, it's just going to continue dropping. And if you look at the TDI below, you can see here that it's not really getting any lower. It drops about 19 at the most, and even 19 on the 15-minute chart as well. And that is some big piece of news. It doesn't normally drop to that low. I marked it out on my chart because I was impressed that it dropped all the way to 19. So bear that in mind when you're looking at NFP or any big news. Other big news as well would be things such as the Fed interest rate. There'll also be other things as well, such as CPI or anything like that. Anything that's high red, if you go to, for example, forexfactory.com or whatever, go look up news, you'll find what it is. So I just wanted to drop that in and just say that with NFP live, it can have a big move. So always check what you're doing and just make sure that when you're making your trades, you have good enough stop loss. This, and it continues to go past this. Gold ended up dropping over 4,000 pips over the past couple weeks in one move. That's a lot. If you go back to at least August 11th, 2020, it dropped over 10,000, which was enormous. We can see here, we had a huge spike. I was searching yesterday to see why it made that move. Couldn't find any news related. That's why it happens. But sometimes it does. Market makers will just do something, and it's there just to trap people and take their stop losses and put them into margin call, blow accounts. They might get a bonus on that, or just do whatever they have to do. So it is what it is. So over here we can see that LC is still dropping, and it's obviously continues to drop some more. So I just wanted to bring that to mind, that, as I said constantly throughout this video so far, the NFP can be serious. It can put you in profit, or it can stop you out if you don't have a stop loss. So always use a stop loss. Don't be one of those people who don't, because your balance will show you the results of your foolishness. So as you can also see here below, that is my real account. Like I said, I'm growing my account, and I have a playlist in which I'm going to a journey to 1,000 lots, in which I'm detailing every trade that I make myself personally, exposing it and just showing where I've where I've done well, where I haven't, and my breakdown for that day as to why I did it when I make the trades. This week, I haven't actually had any trades I made simply because of the fact that my setups weren't there. In this case, this was a type 3 setup. Now, you're not going to know what those are until I make my entry video, but I'll give you a bit of a spoiler for that one. So this is a type 3 because price went to the 800 EMA, in this case on the 15-minute time frame, and it made an M off of that and then proceeded to drop with NFP. Now, because I'm looking for a clear move above or below the Asian session spread, I couldn't take this trade, although it was beautiful. It happens. So sometimes you'll have trades that work out, sometimes you won't, and it's just really not beating yourself up about it, not having negative self-talk. I've done that loads. Doesn't help you. Just be positive. If you end the day and it didn't go out quite as planned as you wanted, see I can do better the next day, because I know I have to tell myself that every day when I get ready for the next day to come, or weekend, as we're rolling into now, going into Monday. So just a little bit of advice from what I've learned for being a Forex trader for over 15, 16 months. It's not easy. This sort of stuff isn't easy. It will break you if you allow it. But if you know what you want, why you want it, and what you're willing to sacrifice in order to get it, then go for it. That's what it's all about. Another thing that I want to talk about, and this is now turning more towards as we see the Forex market move, this is now, I want to talk about more of what do you guys personally want out of Forex. So what's your, if you look at this as a goal in life, what's your 5 year, your 1 month, your 3 months, 6 months, what's your plan, what's your outline, and how does your Forex business relate to that? So comment down below if you're watching the video up until this far. Comment down below, what's your plans for this? How are you making this a part of your reality? Alright, so we can see here that the ADR low has been completely smashed, and this is the shift out of the zone which we were looking for, I was looking for personally. And we can see here that the EMAs have flattened, or have now spread out. They were flat for a long time. You can see here that it's measuring about 1700 pips. Now for me personally, I look for 1350 pips to finish my day, and that would have done it in one 15-minute move. Couldn't ask for any better than that. Alright, and we're still dropping here. So this is just complete. Earlier it was around there. You can see there was a bit of consolidation, and then the bottom fell out, and it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And this is what happens, especially with gold. Gold is so volatile. News events like this trigger gold, either up or down. And also in this case, it was going down, and it went down. Okay? So you have to decide to yourself, if you saw this happen while it's happening, would you jump into this trade? Because the other thing to note, and this is why a lot of people fail as well, is they may jump into a trade as it's ending. Now in this case, it doesn't end for a little bit, but you wouldn't know that. Looking at your indicators, looking at all that you know personally, how would you know this wasn't going to end right here and then reverse and head upwards? Okay, so there's a couple strategies and things that I look out for, which I'll be looking at in another video, about how to know, marking out market maker levels and where they've been to in the past to know where they could potentially stop, consolidate and reverse, or consolidate and head lower. So I think it's around 1760 area of where price begins to flatten out, and that's obviously where the market makers were before, and they made a W. So I was looking to see if this was going to make a multi-W, and looking at Monday to see whether that would actually pan out. So I'll have to check on Monday and then make my decision to go from there. So if you like the video, as we saw earlier, please subscribe, comment, like, so YouTube algorithm shares this to more people. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs, trying to get the channel monetized so people can hear more of what I'm doing, and also just trying to share my knowledge that I've learned over the nearly 18 months I've been doing Forex trading. So we can see here price style to come back up, which is quite interesting here, and it tries to, but it'll pretty much will struggle throughout the whole rest of this. So in short, that's what I wanted to leave you guys with. I will call it here, but yeah, feel free to watch NFP completely have gold plummet. With GU as well as with UZ, it didn't do much. Doesn't always. NFP doesn't always move as much as people think it does. It really depends on the pair itself. But I will say, I'll make another video showing the most volatile players, you know, the best bang for your buck. That's what you want to go for when you do Forex trading. You don't want to be waiting 6, 7, 8 hours. It can happen though, even with gold. You don't even want to be waiting that long to hit your number and do something else. But if you're on your phone or doing something, or your phone or tab or your PC and you're away and you're doing stuff, then it doesn't matter. But if you're on your PC like I am, looking at your desk and looking at your trading screens, different story. So with that in mind, I think I'll call it here, and like I said, enjoy the rest of the video, and I'll let you see how NFP works for the rest of the 3 pairs here. This has been a Forex Sensei, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace. I'm out.